So the first thing that I asked you to do was to take your big paper and to just fold it the taco way, otherwise like a card. These tacos are like tall and short. And then open it up and fold it the hot dog bun way, because hot dog buns are long and skinny. Then to take your paper and to just turn it. Now, you can see on my screen, it's a little bit difficult to see, but I'm just going to lightly indicate the folds here with my pencil just so you can see them easier. You don't have to do that with yours, okay? But it's just so that you can see my page is easily divided up into 4. Now you're going to receive a photocopy. It's a little bit neater than this one that I just quickly drew small. What you're going to do is you're going to put your paper over top. It might be a little bit hard to see, so you're going to have to take your time and do it lightly in case you mess up. You're going to trace the 2 so that it is pretty much in the middle of that first quadrant, so that first section of your paper. And then next to that, you're probably going to have to slide this over a little bit so that you're centering your 0. So I'll give you the photocopies in a second, but I have them copied just to make this job. This took us a lot of time when I did it from scratch with my last class, so I just thought it would be easier if we had a template to trace from. So you do this, and then what do you think the next step might be? Another one. So you do your other 2 down here, and if you don't get it exactly on the line, that's okay. Just try to keep it so that it's the same width. Okay, and again, it's that like pressing lightly with your pencil in case you make an error so that you can easily erase it. No, thank you. So the next one there is just my 0, and I'm trying my best to get it drawn in the center. If it's not perfectly centered, that is fine, but we want to try to have it roughly in the middle. So this is what you are aiming for, just 2020 for the new year. All right, so I have here 1, 2 drawn, and then on this other page I have a few examples of like your page. But in order to do a quick tutorial here, I wanted it to be big enough that you could see what I was doing. So I'm just going to take this part, I'm going to do in Crayon. I'm going to show you one way that you could go about this. So if you're still going over your other ones, just leave it for now. Make sure you're paying attention to the screen so that you can see this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on one end of my number. If it was a 0, I would just start maybe at the top or something. And I'm just going to use my crayon, and I'm going to press fairly hard. I'm trying to stay inside the lines, okay, as best I can. And I'm going to show you how to do a crayon gradient. I may have shown you this before, might be a reminder, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I color it, and you'll notice that I press fairly hard here, but I'm going to actually start going a little bit lighter. Okay, and I'm kind of going back and forth over it, right? So when I go lighter over here, I'm going to go all the way over my last section too. I'm going to go a little bit further, but over my last one, and a little bit further, and over my last one. One sec. Okay, so then it's going to get lighter, and lighter, and lighter. All right? So it pretty much goes from this color all the way to invisible, and I can't see any stripes. Some people get confused with this, and they'll do it. We'll just do a little version here. They'll do it like this. They'll do a really hard section, and then a medium section with a line, and a light section with a line. I don't want it to be in stripes, right? I want it to go from dark to light. So you have to kind of go over what you've already colored a little bit lighter, go over it a little bit lighter, go over it a little bit lighter, go over it a little bit lighter. All right? Then your next color, you're going to start light, very, very light, and you're going to get darker. Okay? Darker and darker and darker until it's the only color that's there, right? Because I had a little bit of purple here. So I'm getting it so that it is pretty evenly blended. It goes from purple to pink. Okay, so this is, I'm coloring softly without much pressure, and then I'm pressing a little bit harder, and then quite hard. Then what do you think I'm going to do?
What color?
Lightly. Whoever said lightly was correct. So I'll go a little bit lighter. And I have to blend it. I have to keep going over it so that it blends together. And there's no big line. I can't say for sure where it stops or begins getting lighter. Okay? Just like that. So that's called a gradient. It goes from the full color and then slowly goes to the lighter version. So this is like one example of how you could fill in your twos. I thought I would do a tutorial on it because a lot of people like this one, and not everyone knows how to do it.
I do.
So you go light, okay, and then
The bumps.
those are just coming from my paper because my paper in my sketchbook is a little bit textured. That's an excellent question. How was I getting the bumps in it? Ideally, you want it to be as smooth as you can, but with that paper, that's not possible. So you may have, for example, like I just did, it'll be like orange, and then it goes into like your next color, and then it goes into your next color, right? So it might look like that. Maybe it's a pattern. Okay, and maybe you continue that pattern every time. Maybe it's different every time. You could do different patterns though, right? So another pattern that you might want to think about, I like this one a lot. So you go like this, and you can do like different colored stripes. Usually I'll fill it in this way. Sorry, it's really hard for me to like stain the lines and also draw tiny with a crayon. So then I do like one stripe, and maybe I'll do, that's pretty much the same color. Do like a different colored stripe. And they don't have to be in any particular order. The only thing I don't want you to do is to just have like a totally solid letter or number, right? Because that's not particularly interesting. What's another pattern? Anybody name one? Yep. Yep, Victoria. Checkered. That's a great one. So you would have to lightly, this is how I usually do checkers, I would lightly like sketch my lines out. And it's a little bit hard on a round shape like this, but okay. Checkered. So it's hard to get the detail tiny, but okay, checkered. Another one, yeah.
Snake.
What?
Snake.
Squiggly lines would be a pattern. Snake is a thing. Okay, so in a pattern, it's usually something that's repeated, right? But you could do squiggly lines for sure. But you just want to make sure that no matter what you pick, that your whole
That looks good.
It does look like a delicious donut. It's true. So you want to make sure that your whole number, no matter what you decide to do, that your whole number is actually filled in with crayon, no matter what the pattern is. Okay? So do your best for that. And it is entirely up to you how you fill them in, but do take your time and fill them in as nicely as you can. There's not much I can do about this part that's gone out of it. I can use a white eraser sometimes with crayon and get a little bit of it off. So that's looking a little bit neater, right? All right, so you're going to do that with each of these. Before you do that, can everyone just flip their page over for a moment? So I've got this. I'm going to flip my page over, and I'm going to put my name, whatever my name is, and my class. Okay?